Salveta. In this first video, we'll be taking a look at the alphabet which the Romans used and from which our own is derived. We'll also be taking a look at pronunciation as well. For the purposes of our class, we'll be using a classical style pronunciation with a few modifications. We'll be using a classical pronunciation as opposed to what is known as a medieval or ecclesiastic or church Latin pronunciation, which many of you might already be familiar with. As I said, we will be playing a little bit loose with the classical pronunciation, however, as we can do that because, the nice thing is, there's no natives to annoy. So that makes it a little bit easier for us to just play with accent a little bit as we need to. So this you will hopefully recognize as the alphabet from your English class, and this is the same alphabet, effectively, as the Romans used, just with a few little tweaks. Notably, they were missing a few letters. So they were missing J, K, W, Y, and Z. So J was not used until centuries after the Roman Empire fell. It was originally just the letter I, but eventually the letter I, which had only one sound up until then, had split into two different sounds, and so J was invented to take care of the extra sound that I had split into. And likewise, W wasn't invented until much later as well, to take care of a sound which V used to take care of. Y and K and Z were only really used in loan words from Greek, sort of like how we use quesadilla in English, even though we know it's a word of Spanish origin. So let's talk a little bit about the specifics of this alphabet and how we're going to pronounce it. First of all, we've got the letter A. The letter A was almost always pronounced A, such as in the word salveta. A few other words that would have the letter A would be words like aqua, agricola, femina, Italia, or natura. Hear the A in each of those. The next letter is the letter B. B is going to be just like it is in our normal alphabet. So you should be familiar with the fact that in English, the letter C can either sound like the letter S, a soft C, or it can be a hard C, K, like the letter K. Now, if you recall, the Romans did not have the letter K, and so for them, C was always their hard K sound. It doesn't take on the soft sound until much later after the fall of the Roman Empire. And so whenever we see the letter C in Latin class, we will only pronounce it as the letter K. So that hard K sound will show up in words like the word keller, causa, cura, or in the name which we in English usually pronounce Caesar, but which the man himself would have pronounced Caesar. The letter D will always be pronounced as a D. The letter E will either be pronounced as E or A, as in the words poeta, memoria, inter, or keller. F will always be pronounced F, as in English. So the letter G is always a hard G, as in the English words get or gather. The letter H is normal, as in English, but the letter I is going to be either an I or an E sound, such as in the words agricola, femina, Italia, or vita. The letters L, M, and N will all be normal, as in English, and the letter O will either be A or O. So for instance, the Latin word spelled D-O will be pronounced do. Also, you will get O in words like poeta, or in the word occupo. The letters P, Q, R, and S will all be normal, as in English, and the letter T will always be a hard T sound, like in the word tuna. The letter U will always be U sound. So for instance, the English word nature is derived from the Latin word natura. Notice the T and the U sound there. Likewise, the English word cure with a Y sound for the U is derived from the Latin word cura with the U pronounced U. Finally, the letter V will always be pronounced W, as in the word silva, or in the word vita. And the letter X will always be pronounced X, as in English. This completes the lesson on the Latin alphabet and its pronunciation. Waleta!